First meetings in business are essential when it comes to creating a good impression of you and your organization. So here are some suggestions. First of all, do some research about your clients. You can do this by calling contacts who might know them, or through Facebook or LinkedIn, which should have details about their interests and their job. See if there's anything that you have in common or that you can ask about in an informed way. When expecting a visitor, make sure all the details of the trip have been finalized so that there are no last-minute changes. This includes the schedule when they arrive, who's picking them up, where they are staying, and when they are visiting the company. In many cultures, this would normally be done at least 3 weeks in advance of the actual visit. Make sure the colleagues that are going to meet them are fully informed of the details. When the visitor arrives, you and your team should look professional, well-dressed, and properly groomed. Make sure you have your business cards with you, that they're up to date, and that you have enough of them. You don't want to run out in the middle of greeting a group of visitors. Generally, first meetings demand a formal approach, especially if the person you are meeting is a client or someone of high status within your own organization. Introductions to build business relationships between people of similar or equal status are usually more relaxed. In the case of a formal introduction, titles should be appropriately used. Always introduce people by saying their title and full name first, and then follow with a brief but interesting or relevant piece of information about the person you're introducing. To take one example, if you're introducing a client, Miss Jones, to a colleague, Stephen Miller, start with Miss Jones, this is Stephen Miller, and not the other way around. If you're not sure of a person's title, use their first and family name. It's up to the guest to decide whether they would prefer to use first names from then on, or stick with titles and family names. You should follow their lead. If you're introducing someone you might work or partner with, or someone who's of equal social or professional standing, you can use their first name. For example, it's a pleasure to meet you, Christine. Make sure you brief your junior colleagues. When they're introduced, their response should be genuine, short, and simple. They should also repeat the person's name at the end of the greeting. Repeating the name of the person shows respect, and it helps to remember the person's name. It's easy to forget names and titles in job descriptions, so keep everything written down if possible. If you do forget someone's name, just apologize and ask them to remind you. Don't try to guess. Having strong small talk skills is especially important when it comes to forming positive business relationships. In many job interviews, evaluation of those skills might be part of the interview process, and they may be a determining factor in whether or not you get the job. Here are some conversational strategies for handling first meetings in business and networking. Find something in common, people or events you both know about. Remember to use the person's name during the conversation. Ask lots of questions, including interesting follow-up questions. Approaching a group, make eye contact with the listener who is more likely to include you, rather than the speaker. Use sense of humor where possible. It relaxes people and helps bonding. If you get a business card, make notes on the back, on where you met and any interesting details. Follow up your meeting if it's a useful contact, for example by sending an email. The way you end the meeting or the conversation is just as important as the way you started. Consider your next steps and how you want this business relationship to continue. Be ready to suggest a follow-up meeting or a phone call. This shows people that you're interested in building a lasting relationship. Make sure you always remain positive, courteous, and attentive.